Hey everybody, it's Audrey and I'm super excited to be kicking off the 2018 edition of the Summer Scrappin Series. I will be doing the third week of each month for June, July, and August, a total of 21 days and over 27 different scrappers joining me for this awesome series, which is my third year doing this. So my guest today is Jennifer Chapin. You can find the link to her channel in the description below. So I am starting off with this photo, which was one of my favorites from last summer. It's of my daughter and I after we made some grapevine wreaths, which we do often in the summer, and it just really brought back a lot of childhood memories because I used to do this with my grandma all the time. So one of my favorite photos from the summer last summer. I picked out this wood grain paper that I think I'm going to start working with for the natural elements. And I'm working with a cut file. It is by Paige Evans, and you can find it in the Silhouette Design Store. And I've cut the cut file from two pieces. I cut it from white cardstock and also kind of a light brown piece of pattern paper. And again, I wanted to bring in some of the brown because when I was thinking of the wreaths themselves, I was thinking of that brown color and wanted to have it give it that more natural look. Now I'm picking out some papers to kind of back my flowers with. So I wanted this page to be, in addition to having the wood look and the brown on there, I wanted the flowers and leaves on here to be kind of colorful because those were going to be my main embellishments. And you can kind of see my photo off there to the right. So I just pulled out a whole bunch of pieces of paper. Most of the papers I am using, I think, are from the Chamel collection called Little by Little. And how I back my papers, and there's lots of different ways people do this, and I guess it depends on your shape too, is I put the glue in the back of my cut file, and then I place it on top of the pattern paper, and then I let it dry a little bit, and then I go back and trim around it. So you could also trace it with a pencil and then cut it out. Some people find that easier. I guess it just depends on the shape and what you're used to. Again, this is my preferred method. So I'm not going to show you this whole thing. I don't back every single piece. The parts that I know are going to be covered by the photo, I obviously don't need to back those, so I've kind of figured out the area on the cut file that is going to be covered, and I'm not going to bother backing those with pattern paper. I'm going to try to get a mix of colors to, to keep the design interesting. So I filled those all out, and you can see I also have some of the brown pieces, that just the wreath part that I have overlapped on the white, because again I wanted to have some brown in here. However, I liked the way it looked, but I thought there was too much white, and I really wanted it to be more colorful. And you had seen I picked out a different piece of pattern paper for the background. It was kind of a more white tone with a subtle print on it. So I need to make this more colorful. So I decided to break out my watercolors, and I am using just a thin paintbrush to kind of match the color of the paper that I used behind each cut. So this takes me a while, and I'm trying to blend and mix the colors to match the paper as best I can. But actually, I love doing this. It's so relaxing, and it's just so, I can just sit and listen to music or watch some TV, and yeah, I just love to do this. It didn't actually take that long, but I really think it makes a huge difference in the final product. And I'm not going to show you my whole painting process here, but just a few screenshots here and there. I just use a cheap old, these are like the cutting mats, the food cutting mats you can get at the dollar store, and you get 2 in a package, 2 for $1. So I use these often to mix paints or to use as kind of like a craft mat. And they're pretty cheap, so they're easy to replace. Okay, so once that dries and I get all these little pieces colored in, I'm going to go back and start putting this on my design. Before I do that, actually, I'm going to add some gesso to my background paper. This piece of background paper, I'm pretty sure comes from a Pink Paisley collection. It's their travel collection, and I love the weaving in the background. I know it's kind of a subtle print, but it reminded me of something natural as well. So I'm going to add some brown splatters. Well, it's kind of a brownish gray. This color is one of my favorite all-time colors. It's an old Studio Calico Mr. Huey's. It's called Clay, and it's a very neutral color. It's just beautiful. And then I went through with another brown, I think this is also a Studio Calico, Mr. Hughes. I think it's called Barnwood. But the gesso, when you put the gesso down, it allows you to kind of blot off a little bit before it soaks into the paper, and it makes it a little bit lighter brown, which that was the look I was going for. So you can see I'm going over the white sections now that are the actual like lines of the wreath. And I had mentioned I had cut out another copy of this file with this kind of light brown paper, and I guess I could have just used my watercolors to paint the lines. That may have been easier, but I cut out the brown one first because I thought, like I said, I was going to have the whole wreath be brown with papers filled in, but I wasn't digging it, so that's why I went ahead and did the white one. And I'm glad I did the white one because then that allowed me to watercolor the edges and bring out a lot more of that color. So again, this design was pretty easy to be. This photo allowed me to, use kind of an easy design. It's obviously a photo with a wreath, but any type of photo that has, a large circular element or even a meaning of a circular element. So, maybe kids playing sports like a basketball or soccer ball, you could use, a big stitch circle in the background. A circle of friends. You could use a picture of friends. I always liked that idea that you have a circle of friends. So yeah, the circle could be used for any kind of theme. So I put my cut file in the background. I added a few stickers, some puffy flower stickers along the flower clusters, and a couple other just plain stickers. I wanted to fill in some of the flowers a little bit more, so I used some stickers. You can see when they're under the bottom left of the photo. I backed my photo with some darker pattern paper to make it stand out more from the background and all the brighter colors and the lighter background. So I think the darker matte on the photo makes it pop a little bit more. So I am using a white pen to kind of just gently sketch out on the background where the wreath shape is. And then I took some brown thread and I stitched the circle. Now I didn't want the thread to be a huge element. I didn't want it to stand out too much because it was a little dark, but I just wanted to peek through some of the areas of the frame. So I really like how that looks. I had considered stitching over the top of the cut file, but like I said, I just wanted some little subtle bits of the stitching. So I like that. If my page starts to get warped a little bit after gesso or misting, I take some washi tape or even just regular Scotch tape, and I tape the corners of my page down. It also prevents it from moving all over my table, so and things falling off if it curls a little bit. I have popped up my photo with some craft foam, and I'm going to use some liquid glue just to adhere that down. I had two dark purple stickers, one on each side of the flower cluster, so I added a dark purple brad underneath the little banner on the photo, and that I think helped create the visual triangle of purple colors there. There's not really any other dark purple on the page, so I guess that I wanted those three things to kind of make that triangle. The cluster on the top right was a little empty underneath kind of that pink and dark blue flower. So I pulled out a piece of pattern paper and I'm going to fussy cut a couple more flowers here and just stick them under. Actually, I stick them under both clusters, the one on the bottom left and the one on the top right as well. I don't think I show you all of the cutouts I add in there in the video, but you'll see it in the final product. Also, you see how I have a blue flower on the top right, this dark blue, and I have one just peeking out the bottom of the photo. Well, again, I really have to work with that visual triangle, so I added another just tiny blue flower to the left that I just cut out by hand, and it just brings in that blue a little bit more. Just some banners on the top and bottom of the photo with a couple phrase stickers and some other cute little embellishments. And a few enamel dots, and I think that's it. I don't really do too much more. Obviously I add a little, I'm going to add a title here in a minute, and then my journaling, I do not show adding my journaling, but I printed my journaling this time. I often handwrite my journaling, but this time I printed it because I wanted it to fit in that space nicely, and I will put it right to the right of my photo. Use some old tiny jelly bean soup letters there, or not jelly bean soup, lily bead letters for my title. And you can see my journaling. I love this page. I love how the colors came out. I love kind of the simplicity of it. I love how the design matches the theme of my photos. And I just love this photo and this memory from last summer. So another memory captured, first one for the summer from last summer. So this is the first of 21 coming up at you for the next couple months this summer. So please stop back again and see the next video tomorrow. Thanks for watching and stay scrappy, friends.